G'day everyone. Now that Sony have announced their Sony a7R IV and we know what specs that camera's, what it's capable of doing, one of my friends, Ben, actually sent me an article from Nikon Rumors that was talking about the Nikon Z8. And this could be really interesting, and I'm wondering what people think about this. And so after I've gone through this conversation, I'd love you to comment down below whether you think that for finally Sony may be pushed, and that's going to be the interesting thing, what we're going to get here. So let's have a look at the article. So this is the article itself. Now it's come from Camera World, and like I said, it was shared to Nikon Rumors, and they're saying that there's rumors that Nikon are going to get a 61 megapixel Z8 incoming using the same Sony a7R IV sensor. In other words, what they're saying is that Nikon have made a deal with Sony, and they've purchased that exact same sensor. So it looks like we may get the 61 megapixels in there as well. They're just saying down here that Sony dropped a huge bombshell on the photographic industry this week by announcing the 61 megapixel a7R IV full-frame camera. Now it appears Nikon is preparing a 61 megapixel warhead of its own, with reports that the manufacturer is planning a high-resolution Nikon Z8. And they're saying that not only that, but Nikon is building its 61 megapixel camera around the very same sensor inside the Sony a7R IV, the full frame back illuminated XMR R CMOS sensor. So this is really interesting, but there's more to this as well. They're saying that it's going to have an ISO range of 64 to 25,600. Better stabilization, and dual CF express memory cards. So that's pretty cool in itself. And it's really going to be interesting to see what happens here. So it looks like they're saying back in April that Nikon made this deal with Sony to get this sensor. They're talking about that here. I will put this document below so you can have a read of this, but also it's saying what is Canon going to do next, because this really may push Canon completely. But there's other things I wanted to talk to you about this that could be really interesting. As you know, I was a little bit disappointed that they left 10-bit 4K 60p off this camera. And that is a real disappointment to me because I'm shooting Fusion. Now I know, please don't go, but it's a photographic camera. I understand that. I'm just talking about my needs as a Fusion user, or a hybrid user that likes to shoot stills and video basically at the same time. So it certainly was a bit of a letdown for me. But there's some interesting things here. Already Nikon are offering 10-bit 422 in their cameras now, the Z6 and Z7 series cameras. So I can't see them holding that back in this high-res camera. I think that would be a silly move of Nikon to do that. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens here. They could even possibly put 4K 60 in there. Remember, you're dealing with a slightly larger body, so it is a larger body. So heat obviously is not going to be that big an issue like it will be on the Sony cameras. So this is what I want to ask you. The things that I really was disappointed about, particularly with the Nikon Z6 and Z7, was the fact that they had single card slots. This has CF express memory card slots, so it's going to beat anything that's out there in that regard. So that is absolutely amazing there. Now, if they put 10-bit 422, as they have in their other cameras, is this finally going to be a camera that is going to basically push Sony? And this is what I'd love to think about, how you think this is going to be marketed. It's particularly interesting to me if Sony don't interest anything by the end of the year. So it certainly is getting interesting, and we're still waiting on what Canon obviously have to announce, and also I suppose what Sony have to announce with the a7000 or the a7S III. That's if those cameras even come out. We keep getting pushed back, and Sony just admitted the other day that they were having problems or something with it, with an announcement that was made the other day, that it was just still coming, and that's all we know. So what I'd like to know is, do you think this camera, if it's released and it has 10-bit 422, potentially it may even have 4K 60. Do you believe now that this now has dual card slots? Do you think now Nikon is in the game? And that's what I'd love you to put in the comment box down below, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. So that's it, guys. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you all soon in the next video. Bye for now.